report on this computer. All right, let's redo this one. Okay. Briefly, welcome and schedule. Yeah. So let me just get this thing. Actually, yeah, this is Edge. Edge is fine. Okay. Close this. Close this. Close this. Close. Okay. So looking back on the syllabus, today we will be talking about the class 9. And last week it was class 8, which covers the Lawden or the Essentials of MIS chapter 8. Today we will be covering chapter 9, and we have an assignment due tonight. Excel module 6, SAM exam, make sure you did it. And we have an Excel module 7 that's due next week. And then today we will be supposedly having assigned you the module 5 to 8 capstone, which is due in a couple of weeks. Actually, three weeks, due in 3 weeks. So the next 2 weeks we will be focusing on Excel instead. So this one is all like MIS. Going back to our weekly schedule. So I've noticed that we have 3 participants, just like last week. I'm not sure if people know like the link, so I just decided to post it here. So here's the link. You can actually just click on here as well. Okay. And then I also uploaded the terminologies for chapter 9 that you can also get it from the lecture. I'll be posting the video later tonight of the recording. And let's see if I'm recording it. I need to double check it. Yeah, I'm recording it. Okay. Okay, back. So you can download this class 9 Excel, which is basically this spreadsheet. And so here we have the terms available for this chapter. Basically, these are all the bolded words that you find on in the chapter. These are all bolded, and they have some definitions here. I pulled all these definitions from the glossary, but the definition may be a little bit different from the text. My comments came from the text, so they may not have the same wording. Then we have the page numbers. This corresponds to the actual page numbers of a hard copy book. So I'm just reminding you. And each icon again correspond to the sections 1, 2, and 3, and 4. There, again, I use conditional formatting to to have these icons assigned. You can check that as well. Section 9.1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the sections, section numbers. These are the questions corresponding on page 317, 320, 328, and 334. You can print this out if you want to. Again, this is an Excel table. The advantage of Excel table is that you can always sort by the terms, but for now, I'm just going to sort it by the page by expanding the filter tag button. Okay. So I'm just going to go over these words because that's what the book is about, and they do have a lot of examples. You can go ahead and read the examples if you wanted. I'm urging you to read the examples because they may help you remember these words by helping you to be able to apply these words to different scenarios using their examples. So it might help you a little bit. And we have a few activities that you can do in Excel. On Pearson. So one is warm up, then we have a video exercise, then finally a quiz. But make sure you go through perhaps the PowerPoint slides, these terminologies, and before taking the quiz. Okay, so let's go over this one. So this chapter is about applying and utilizing the enterprise software. So again, the title of this chapter is Achieving Operational Excellence and Customer Intimacy through Enterprise Applications. Enterprise software is another term for enterprise applications. The most important is customers are always right. Customers come first in businesses because without customers, there's no money involved. They cannot earn any money without any customers. Okay. So basically, in order to achieve customer intimacy, the companies may have to use software pack called the enterprise application. So EA, there are several companies offering enterprise application. They include SAP. So for SAP, in the graduate level classes, we offered three graduate level classes in SAP, and I think one undergraduate SAP class. So if you're interested, you can take the SAP, or if you like technical stuff, like some stuff with information systems, you can always join our program. Of course, I'm not spamming for you that you have to join this program. But again, we offer quite a bit of stuff for SAP. We offer like analytics, data analytics to check out how to improve the business through different types of analytics. Okay, supply chain just means you're making from the raw materials into a final product, but you have a chain, like a lot of stuff in between before you can make into a final product. So for example, if you're making like a leather bag, you need the raw materials. You need the different types of perhaps you need like fabric. You may need like some leather, tannery, hide, right? All the stuff, and you probably need some tools and machines that help you build sew up the bag, and then you probably need like strings, strings, like maybe nylon strings to sew them together. So these are all the raw materials, and there's a process. There's the process that you need to do before you can get the final product. Even if it doesn't have to be automatic, like even if it's manual, you still have to follow this chain. JIT, or just-in-time strategy, allows companies to make the product as soon as possible, as long as they are able to predetermine the amount of supplies needed ahead of time, so that they can easily create the product they need. So that's a strategy. However, the problem with this strategy is that it's possible that the company gets too much supplies, too many supplies, gets a lot of supplies. The reason is it could result from a bullwhip effect. So what bullwhip effect means is that there's going to be information distortion, right? The information becomes distorted, and in the end, when the calculations were done, you will the company will predict that they need this many supplies, whereas they don't need that much. They probably need a few in order to build a product. So in the end, the company will waste a lot of money in getting the supplies. The reason for this distortion is because of a supplier that a company has can have a lot of different suppliers, and those suppliers can have more suppliers. And when you have like this kind of thing laid out, right? The information tend to get distorted, like messed up in between different suppliers, and that's why you're probably not able to calculate or forecast the amount of supplies that you need to build a product. So that was an issue. Supply chain planning system. This is just like any plan. We predict this outcome, right? We basically it's what is it like? Uh, So this again has something to do like just-in-time strategy. This predicts the supplies that we need, like how everything is ordered and how much do you need based on the supplies. Demand planning is predicting how much the customer needs. So one is like predicting how much supplies that you can get. The other one is how much demands the customer need. And those two are actually related to push-based model and pull-based model, right? Push-based model means driven by the massive production schedules, which again has something to do with a supply chain. Pull-based, on the other hand, driven on the customer demands or customer orders, right? You have these data can be obtained, like this data can be obtained from the CRM, whereas this data is obtained from SCM, supply chain management. Supply chain execution systems is how the product flow through all the distributions. So that's how the supply chain are getting executed throughout so how the supplies are getting executed in the chain. Touch point, according to the book, is a contact point, indicating how to interact with customers. For example, phone, service desk, like customer service desk, and social media. So nowadays, companies are utilizing social media to get closer to customers. So that's one of the tech methodology that the companies use to for customer intimacy. So CRM CRM is customer relationship management. So an example like of CRM is basically like how customer how customer can use a software to handle like all kinds of transactions, like what they need from the company. Then we have something called ERM, which is the employee, right? This one is how the software takes care of the employees. Usually a web portal. I can show you that later. Then we have PRM, which is partner relationship management, which is a software that takes care of the business partners. So a lot of times an organization could have other partners that build a product or services. So an example of ERM could be like one of the portals used by University of Houston system. And since I'm an employee, I have access to them. Of course, I'm not going to show you everything. I'm just going to show you the beginning of the portal. So like this one, the dollar sign is the finance that I'll be able to look up my salary. Hold on. So I can look up for my compensation and other benefits. The pass is about like my employee information, like my change of address and other stuff. And e-services, you obviously know, but I have more than what you can do. I can um, so I can do like some other services like searching the students and handling all other looking up the students and stuff like that. Um, so I think that's about it. Those are and then the CS. I don't remember what's that, but that's also another. I think the training probably goes under CS, I believe, or it's my AAU. Yeah, it's probably CS. These are the four different universities: UH main campus, UHCL, UH Victoria, and downtown. Yeah, I think the trainings also go in here, and then I just have to go into the portal to click on some of the trainings. Okay, let me just minimize that. Okay, so Salesforce automation, according to the book, it's a module in CRM that helps sales staff increase productivity by focusing sales efforts on the most profitable customers. I've actually never used Salesforce automation before. I did use SFDC software.com before as a software, but I think it's very complicated for me to understand since I didn't receive any training. I just use it to see, just play around with it in a previous company that I worked for, Hewlett Packard. So although I only worked in Hewlett Packard for 1 year and 3 months, I prior to joining the UHCL, which I decided to teach instead of working for a company as a software developer or senior software developer. I so back then the reason I guess at that time they wanted to hire people for the Hewlett Packard Financial Services, a division that I worked for, which now was part of the Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Which of course you probably knew that Hewlett Packard was recently split into two companies. One Hewlett Packard Corporation, dealing with hardware and for consumers, and then there's also Hewlett Packard Enterprise that deals with information IT services, information technology services. But regardless, HPFS is now part of the HP Enterprise, and HPFS deals, the business model for HPFS involves in handling transactions from customers to Hewlett Packard. So Hewlett Packard basically is a computer company, and they have a lot of old computers, and computers are not going to sell. So what they do with the old computers is that they lease it to other companies, and those companies are customers of Hewlett Packard. So they lease it to other companies, and HPFS handles all the leasing agreements and all the stuff. and anything that deals with the finance with other companies. So essentially, we needed a CRM that other companies can use to manage their assets, the computers, and as well as their finance, the leasing agreements. Um, so of course, I was hired for a reason. They had like other people, but back then I was involved in a project that was supposedly to migrate all the legacy applications into enterprise into like some kind of enterprise application, an ERP, which means enterprise resource planning application. And the application that we used was Microsoft Dynamics AX. That's why I mentioned it here. Um, but like their plan was, I think back then was like 5 years. So I don't know if they successfully migrate every 3 to 5 years. I don't know if they successfully migrated since I lost contact with all the coworkers. But for 1 year, of course, it's impossible for me to see any changes. So what I did is to migrate all the customer data into another database that um, and other web services that the company, the organization can use as part of the enterprise application. So the first task was to migrate all the data, and it was a huge amount of data. And that's why we have to check for consistency and other stuff with the data. But I never use this one. I just look at SFDC sometimes to look at the customers they had. Cross-selling, on the other hand, is to market complementary products to customers. So basically, what this means is that, so for example, when you go into the bank and you decide to apply for a checking account, the banker may ask you to apply for a complimentary money market account due to higher interest. And of course, you probably will get enticed by the higher interest rate because checking account normally does not have an interest rate, whereas money market account does have some interest rate, like 1%. But serious and honestly, I don't think it's worth it because 1% is like nothing, and that's actually a lot lower than our current estimated annual inflation rate, which is estimated to be 1.5%. So honestly, I don't think 1% or even 2% is worth it for applying these different accounts. Of course, if you want an increase, probably go for stocks, but stocks are kind of hard. Uh, like even like the Zoom stocks, right? They actually had a huge rise in January, but I didn't know that, so I already missed like my chance to buy Zoom stocks. And right now, if I buy it, it's just rippling. Um, and of course, you have other options, but regardless, that's cross-selling, money market account as well as a checking account. Analytical CRM that uses the CRM data to analyze the company's intimacy with the customers, like what's the relationships with the customer, like are they satisfied? Are they doing something like buying more stuff or browsing more stuff and so forth? So this may help improve business performances. Customer lifetime value. So this one just investigate the relationship between the revenue produced by a single customer, by a specific customer, and so forth, right? So that's an example, and how, like, what kind of value that you provide to this customer. As you know, customer and an organization is very important, and so it's always customer centric, customer first, customer oriented. Then you have customer is always right. So you students are obviously my customers. So so of course, if you run into issues about homework assignments, especially the due dates, I usually be more flexible about the due dates, but sometimes I prefer not to give due dates just for one person, like an extension for one person. If when more students ask me to extend another due date, I would consider extending for everyone because I trust that everyone here is to learn, and sometimes like during this coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, it's very hard to coordinate your schedule. Churn rate just means the rate at which a customer cease to use or purchase products from the company. Like when you like for example, if you're my customers, right? If you start dropping the class, then I think that something is wrong with my methods, and I'm sure there's something wrong with this online session, but we can't really help. Social CRM, using social media for to get closer to customer, and customer can, like for example, they can use Facebook to buy products to also like handle like some other transactions and also look at other stuff. So that basically answers like these four sections: how to supply chain management, coordinate planning, production, and logistics with suppliers. How do customer relationship management systems help firm achieve intimacy, and what are the challenges that enterprise applications pose, and how are enterprise applications taking advantage of new technologies. Does anyone have questions, or am I muted, or what? Let's see. I don't even know how to access this thing. This is hard. Oh, here. So let's say chat log. Why am I not seeing chat logs? Okay, so chat logs. Can hear you. Okay. So any other questions? It's about like half an hour. Does anyone have questions?
So the assignments for this week were pushed back, correct?
Yes. Well, push to 1 week on Sunday for I think for 12.
Okay, so I'll work on
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, I apologize because my for some reason I thought I changed it, but it wasn't changed. It's kind of weird.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So any other questions? Well, I guess it's only 2 people or 3 people attending the session. I was hoping a little bit more people, but um, yeah. But I actually just posted a link here, so hopefully people can see it in case they didn't see their emails. Um, Okay, and then we'll see each other next week. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to send me a private message through Zoom. I'm also logged into Microsoft Teams, which is actually when you install Microsoft Office. Um, Yeah, when you install Microsoft Office, it's installed, so I'm also logged in. So you can also private chat with me over Teams, as Microsoft Teams as well. Um, I believe if you have actual questions on Excel, you can um, video conferencing, which I never actually tried it before. But prior to joining UHCL, I did use something called Lync, Lync, and they later changed it to Microsoft Skype for Business. And they decided to get rid of Skype for Business and change and merge it into Microsoft Teams, which is the new one from Microsoft. So that's about what I have to say. And I'll be uploading this video to Blackboard, to YouTube, and then showing on Blackboard. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.